The first time I realized I didn't actually know Serena, I was sitting across from her at the prenup meeting. The air in the room was heavy, stale, like the tension had soaked into the walls. I smiled politely, as if I were in on a joke that only I didn't understand. "You can't touch my money," she said flatly, not even glancing at me. "It's all mine." Something inside me shifted. The past 3 years, the cozy apartment, the late-night conversations, the dreams we had whispered over pasta and wine, crashed down like a sandcastle in a storm. I stayed calm, nodded, and let the lawyers do their thing. But inside, a slow, deliberate grin spread across my face. Some illusions were meant to be shattered. I'm 32. Serena's 30. We'd been together for 3 years, living together for 1. Her family, immense wealth, old money, the kind that makes ordinary people nervous, had always hovered over us. I did all right for myself. Software engineer, a comfortable life, but in their world, I was an outsider. And now, apparently, a disposable outsider. The engagement itself had been a fairy tale. I saved for the ring for months, a Tiffany piece that gleamed on her finger as she squealed with delight. Wedding planning kicked off in earnest. She loved every second. The invitations, the cake tasting, the seating charts. Her parents, Robert and Claudia, orchestrated their vision for a splashy, unforgettable affair at the country club. I footed the bills for the photographer, the band, and our honeymoon. The floral lighting package she adored, $15,000 down, non-refundable. Everything was fine until Robert mentioned the prenup. It was subtle at first, framed as standard practice for families like theirs. I wasn't thrilled, but I was cautious. "Send it over," I said, thinking the lawyers could negotiate some fair terms. Then came last Tuesday. The room was suffocating. Me, Serena, Robert, 2 lawyers, my own lawyer Evan. Their lawyer droned on, the words a blur, protecting pre-existing assets, clarifying ownership, marital property, until he said it, plain and unmistakable. Anything Serena earned or received, purely hers. Any business I might start, potentially subject to her claim. My earnings, restricted. My access to her larger income stream, impossible. And spousal support, waived completely. I looked at Serena. She filled with the bracelet I had given her. Cartier. My lawyer raised an eyebrow. "This seems one-sided." Robert chuckled. "Just protecting our daughter, Evan. You understand, right?" I waited for Serena to say something. Defend us. Defend me. She didn't. Her voice, flat, indifferent, broke the silence. "It's just how it has to be. You can't touch my money. It's all mine. All mine." 3 years of shared dreams reduced to one cold word. Mine. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I smiled. Not a nervous smile, not a bitter one, a slow, steady smile. I stood, nodded to Evan, and walked out. No drama. No confrontation. Just clarity. That night, I packed my essentials, left behind a photo from our trip to the coast, and stayed at my friend Malik's. Serena called, texted, left voicemails. Ignored. Her father called. Ignored. The lawyers tried to negotiate. I shook my head. Some things aren't negotiable. By Wednesday, the disentanglement began. Vendors contacted. Pedal Pushers Deluxe, the floral lighting package, non-refundable. Band, non-refundable deposit. Photographer, partial refund possible. Honeymoon, refundable. Step by step, I untangled myself in the trap I had almost walked into. Meanwhile, Serena's calls escalated. "Jordan, this isn't funny. You're embarrassing me. My father's upset." I kept calm. Her father's threats were empty. The contracts had clearly defined responsibilities. Her financial overreach was her undoing. Thursday, more frantic texts. Robert tried guilt-tripping me. "You're throwing away a wonderful future over a piece of paper." My response was simple. That piece of paper was the future you offered. No thanks. By Friday, I retrieved the rest of my belongings. No note, no drama, just a stark clarity of walking away from entitlement masquerading as love. Saturday, The begging started. Text at 6 in the morning. Jordan, please. I miss you. I didn't mean it. I didn't reply. Hours later, a voicemail. I messed up. I need you. We can tear up that stupid paper. I swear I don't care about the money. Part of me felt a pang, but the rational part remembered her face at that meeting. Cold, calculating, prioritizing money over partnership. The begging? A hollow echo. The week after the prenup fiasco was a masterclass in self-respect and patience. I blocked her calls intermittently, returned to work, and let the world settle. But news traveled fast. Mutual friends whispered. Social media buzzed with questions. Her narrative tried to paint me as unreasonable. It failed spectacularly. People who knew me knew better. Her mother, Claudia, called mine, ranting. I stayed silent. Let them stew. Let them face the consequences of arrogance and entitlement. I drafted a simple email to all mutual friends. Subject: Update on Jordan and Serena's wedding. Dear friends and family, Serena and I have made the difficult decision to call off our wedding. This was not an easy choice. We apologize for any inconvenience. Further communication regarding vendor arrangements will come from her family. Short, polite, no blame, clear boundaries. Then the financial consequences hit. The $15,000 floral lighting package? She was now responsible for the remaining balance. The band? Same. The venue? Same. Their attempt to pressure vendors backfired spectacularly. Their wealth couldn't save them from their own poor planning. The irony was delicious. I re-established my life. Canceled joint subscriptions, utilities, wine club, streaming bundles. Not revenge for money, but for principle. She said it was childish. I replied, you said it's all mine. That applies to bills too. Silence followed. Her attempts to manipulate me through family and social pressure gradually fizzled. Friends offer support or remain neutral. Serena's attempt to paint me as the villain collapsed under the weight of the truth. Even her father's attempt to threaten my job failed. A call to my boss, Gabriel, implied instability on my part. I shut it down quickly, calmly. Gabriel trusted me. The absurdity of entitlement crashing into reality made my resolve sharper. The apartment felt cold when I retrieved the rest of my things, but it was mine again. My life, my choices, my space. Serena's absence was tangible, but it carried no weight. My revenge wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, methodical, and just, she had shown her true colors. I didn't need to tarnish her reputation. Her actions had done it for her. 2 weeks later, I poured a glass of whiskey on my balcony, letting the city lights blur into a comforting backdrop. I reflected on the past 3 years, not with sadness, but with clarity. Partnership isn't about money. It's about mutual respect. Serena had prioritized wealth over the life we could have built together. I valued self-respect over status. Life continued. Work thrived. My hobbies returned. Friends laughed. My small apartment, once shared, felt full again. Coffee from my rocket espresso machine tasted sweeter. Knives in the kitchen glinted with quiet satisfaction. The Hamiltons, Serena's family, continued to scramble over deposits and contracts, tangling themselves further in the consequences of entitlement. Their narrative unraveled publicly. Serena's social presence dimmed. Gossip spread. I stayed neutral, watching from a distance. Justice had a funny way of delivering itself without force. A moment of reflection reminded me of the pain of shattered illusions, but it passed. The future I was building was mine alone. No compromise, no pandering, no walking on financial tightropes to please someone who valued money over me. I didn't hate Serena. I felt relief. Relief at having escaped a situation that could have poisoned my life, my career, and my sense of self. The calm after the storm was sweeter than any wedding, any lavish arrangement, any material gift she could ever offer. Self-respect had been my quiet revenge. Walking away had been my power. And watching them stumble over their own misjudgments was, in its own way, poetic. I smiled, poured another whiskey, and let the night settle around me. The lesson was clear. Red flags exist for a reason, and walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. And with that, our story comes to an end, but the real story begins with your thoughts. What would you do if you were in this situation? Let me know in the comments.